Welcome to Skytech-Lens. The United States is racing toward an AI-powered future, where algorithms and machine learning are set to transform every aspect of life, from healthcare and finance to transportation and entertainment. But behind the scenes of this digital revolution lies a massive, often overlooked physical appetite for energy, one that is growing at an unprecedented pace. Data centers and chip factories, the backbone of AI innovation, devour staggering amounts of electricity. They require not just power but a constant, reliable flow, placing enormous strain on America's aging power grid and pushing it to its limits. In Virginia, which has become the world's largest data center market, the demand for energy is skyrocketing. Experts warn that energy needs in the region could double within the next 15 years, all driven by the relentless growth of technology. To put it in perspective, a single AI data center can consume as much electricity as an entire nuclear power plant generates, an astonishing comparison that highlights the scale of the challenge. This surge in demand is no longer just a technical issue. It's become a major political and economic concern, bringing together lawmakers, business leaders, and energy experts from across the spectrum to address the urgent need for energy security and innovation. America's ambition to lead the world in AI and advanced manufacturing is now colliding head-on with the hard limits of its energy infrastructure, raising tough questions about how to power the future. Enter Canada, a country that for decades has quietly supplied the US with vital oil, gas, and clean hydroelectricity. Today this partnership is more critical than ever, as America looks north for the energy it needs to fuel its digital dreams. Yet this cross-border energy alliance now faces new political and economic pressures, from trade disputes to environmental debates, threatening the very foundation of a partnership that could determine the future of North American innovation. As America's need for resources reaches unprecedented levels, the nation finds itself at a crossroads. The demand for energy, raw materials, and manufactured goods is surging, driven by both economic growth and global uncertainty. In this climate, the United States is rethinking how it secures its future. But as the world becomes more interconnected, a new obstacle rises: tariffs. These barriers are reshaping the way goods move across borders, slowing down trade and adding new layers of complexity for businesses and consumers alike. The Trump administration's sweeping tariffs, effective August 2025, target over 60 countries, aiming to force manufacturing back to US soil. The policy is bold, signaling a dramatic shift in America's approach to global commerce and economic security. While the USMCA keeps most trade flowing, a 35% tariff now hits key Canadian sectors like lumber, steel, and aluminium. These industries, once tightly linked to American supply chains, now face steep new costs, threatening jobs and profits on both sides of the border. The tech sector isn't spared. Threats of a 100% tariff on imported chips have already pushed giants like Apple to invest in US plants. Companies are scrambling to adapt, accelerating plans to build domestic factories and secure local supply lines, hoping to avoid the brunt of these tariffs. Tariffs have boosted US Treasury revenue, but at a cost. American businesses and consumers pay higher prices for everything from cars to clothing. Everyday goods are becoming more expensive, and companies are forced to pass on these costs to their customers. The policy is a high-stakes gamble, reshaping global supply chains but creating new pressures at home. Companies are rethinking their logistics, rerouting shipments, and searching for new suppliers, all while trying to stay competitive in a rapidly changing market. The era of protectionism is meant to shield the US economy, but it's also straining wallets and business balance sheets. Small businesses, families, and entrepreneurs are all feeling the pinch as the cost of living and operating rises. The question remains: can America protect its industries without hurting its own people? As the nation moves forward, the true impact of this new era of protectionism is only beginning to unfold. America's dependence on Canada isn't minor, it's a lifeline that quietly powers the nation every single day. The relationship between these two neighbors is woven into the very fabric of American life, often in ways most people never realize. Canada is the top supplier of energy to the US, sending millions of barrels of oil and billions of cubic feet of natural gas south every day. This steady flow keeps American cars running, homes heated, and industries operating smoothly, making Canada an indispensable partner in meeting America's vast energy needs. Hydroelectricity from Canada powers nearly 1 million American homes annually, especially in the Northeast and Pacific Northwest. These clean, renewable energy imports help reduce emissions and support America's transition to a greener future, while keeping the lights on in major cities. Canada also supplies 27% of the uranium fueling America's nuclear plants, vital for clean, reliable power. Without this steady supply, the U.S. would struggle to maintain its nuclear energy output, which is crucial for both energy security and climate goals. This infrastructure, pipelines, transmission lines, railways, has been built over decades for this partnership. It's a vast, interconnected network that ensures energy resources move efficiently and reliably across the border, supporting millions of jobs on both sides. Disrupting this flow isn't easily fixed. There's no quick substitute. Any interruption would ripple through the economy, affecting everything from fuel prices to electricity bills, and even the stability of critical industries. Any break in this lifeline could have immediate, severe consequences for U.S. energy security. Blackouts, fuel shortages, and economic turmoil could follow, highlighting just how vital this partnership truly is. The U.S.-Canada energy relationship is the bedrock of America's technological ambitions. From powering data centers to supporting advanced manufacturing, this cross-border energy flow enables innovation and growth in the world's largest economy. Aggressive trade policies risk undermining the very foundation of America's future. Protecting and strengthening this partnership isn't just about energy. It's about securing prosperity, stability, and progress for generations to come. Canada's value to the U.S. goes beyond energy. It's about critical minerals with no domestic substitute. Ontario's high-grade nickel is essential for EV batteries and defense tech. BC's germanium is vital for fiber optics and solar panels. Disrupting these supplies would cripple key U.S. industries and slow the race for AI and green tech. Replacing Canadian minerals would mean years of searching and building new supply chains, at huge cost. Canada's unique resources give it leverage in trade talks. The U.S. can't simply look elsewhere. This isn't a typical trade relationship. Canada holds keys to America's future growth and security. Damaging this connection could hurt the U.S. more than Canada. The two economies are deeply intertwined and the stakes are higher than ever. Tariffs meant to protect U.S. industries are hitting consumers and businesses hard. Yale Research estimates tariffs could cost the average American family $2,400 more per year. Prices for household goods, clothing, and furniture are rising as costs get passed to shoppers. Manufacturing, instead of booming, has lost over 37,000 jobs since tariffs began. The auto industry faces billions in extra costs, making U.S. cars less competitive. In Canada, targeted industries like lumber and steel are squeezed, forcing some to seek new markets. Tariffs are also delaying major projects like the North American EV supply chain and slowing the green transition. The price of protectionism, lost jobs, stalled projects, and growing economic instability. Canada's leaders are split on how to handle America's tariff offensive. Prime Minister Mark Carney opts for quiet diplomacy, keeping most trade tariff-free and building alliances with Mexico. His approach de-escalate tensions, protect Canada's core interest, and avoid a rushed deal. Ontario Premier Doug Ford takes a louder route, warning Americans on CNN that tariffs are attacks on their own people. Ford's confrontational style aims to create U.S. public pressure, but risks provoking Washington. Other premiers, like Saskatchewan's Scott Moe, want to ease retaliatory tariffs to help local businesses. This split reveals Canada's central dilemma: fight back or play it cool. The outcome will shape Canada's economic future in a volatile partnership. With U.S. trade less reliable, Canada is pivoting, diversifying exports and building new alliances. Exports to the EU and UK are up, as Canadian businesses find new customers. The government is investing in domestic energy and critical minerals, moving up the value chain. Major projects like Volkswagen's battery plant in Ontario show global confidence in Canada's strategy. Retaliatory tariffs remain a bargaining chip, reminding Washington that trade is a two-way street. Redirecting exports like Ontario grain to Europe signals Canada's adaptability. This pivot is economic self-defense, reducing risk from over-reliance on the U.S. Canada is building a more resilient, independent future ready for whatever comes next. The trade dispute's real cost is felt by families and workers on both sides of the border. U.S. consumers face higher prices for groceries, clothing, and home repairs, direct hits to household budgets. Manufacturing and construction workers see job losses and uncertainty as costs rise and projects stall. In Canada, communities built on lumber and steel face layoffs and economic anxiety. Small businesses suffer as local economies tighten. The ripple effect is clear. Policies meant to help one country's workers often hurt the others, and then cycle back. Decades of seamless cross-border prosperity are now threatened by friction and uncertainty. The tariff tango's harshest steps are felt by ordinary people struggling to keep up. America's quest for tech dominance depends on energy and minerals, most supplied by Canada. Yet tariffs threaten this essential partnership, risking disruption to the very resources powering America's future. Is it wise to alienate the one partner the US can't easily replace? Canada's resources are unique. Pushing it away could leave America isolated and vulnerable. The America First strategy must be weighed against the real needs of industry and citizens. The tariff tango is a risky dance. If Canada leaves the floor, America's ambitions could stumble. The answer will shape North America's economic landscape for decades. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more updates.